Welcome everybody to episode 4 of Gold Around the World, entering Finland. As you can see, I'm doing a voiceover for this as well as many future episodes in this series. So, instantly, first round here, heading down the road to look for a useful sign. As we do look to be in a somewhat of a rural community, but we actually find a sign pretty quickly, which is, quite delightful, quite surprising. We got Kuopio and Ristavisa, and we're on the 567. So instantly I go and look for the 567. Find some 500, 600 series highways here, but not the 567. I do, however, zone in on Kuopio here, which is 48 kilometers away. Very helpful there. So I know I'm, roughly in a circle around the city, finding Ristavisa right there, and finding the 567. So right away, great start to this episode. Great start to this game. Just a minute in, we already pretty much have where we're at exactly. So I go to line up the highway here, heading pretty north, a little bit slightly northeast. It does seem to be somewhere on this road I'm clicked on right now. So I'm just going to want to head back to the start here to find the actual road that we spawned next to. So I'm kind of looking for something that lines up here, heading a little bit, bending a little bit, I should say. So yeah, there we go, head back to the start. And just going to find this street name, and I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that. But we have that to the south of us. So I'm just going to see if we can find that on the map. And there's a couple roads here that actually aren't named, which does worry me a little bit that the road we're at might not be named on the map, which would give us some difficulty for, no reason. So I keep growing up the map here, looking for that road. And I think I actually find it right there. Check the name again because, they're pretty unique names, and we got it right away. So first 5K there in, minute and a half or so. Into the second round, then a little bit more of an urban setting. Uh, Again, just heading directly down the road for some information and finding a main drag pretty quickly. So I'll set off here looking for more info. We got some street names here that I wanted to check, but just some pretty small stuff that I don't think will be too much help. So I decided to head back down the road. Also, might as well just say this now. A lot of this video may contain some, extensive periods of scanning on the map. So I think I'll speed up some of those clips a little bit just to spare you from the boredom uh, that is of looking for names on the map as we find Tojiki here. And I assume this is a pretty small place, but I decided it's always worth to just have a check in the off chance that you do find it. You can save yourself heaps of time if you stumble across it. No luck there. I decided to mark a checkpoint there in case we find some more information so we can head back to that sign name. Heading into a roundabout now, which I've discovered Finland loves. And we have some highway numbers here. We have the 2, the 11, as well as the 8 and the 23. And the 266, which I think will be the most helpful if we can manage to find that, as that will be the smallest road of the bunch. And I'm on the 23 here looking for a junction that also has the 8, or the 2, or the 11. Just trying to kind of gauge how far this 23 spans across the country, which I discovered to be almost the entirety of the country. And kind of struggling to find a place that might match up, but we found the 2 here, the 11, and the E8. So I assume the 8 might also just double as the E8. So I think Pori might be a good shout here for where we're at. So I'm kind of trying to see if we can find the 266 anywhere, as that would be most likely the most helpful. As well as keeping in mind the Tojiki sign that we saw, although no luck so far. I decided to take a rip around this roundabout to see if we can find any more signage, and we found Keskusta there, which it's hard to say if that's a place name, a city suburb, or it could just be a Finnish word that means, it can mean anything. It can mean city center. I don't know a lick of Finnish, so it's really not too helpful to me. So I wanted to go back to this highway sign and looking for the 266. I thought a 265 up there, so I assume we're pretty close. Although just 10 seconds left at this point, kind of had to use all of our time to find out where roughly we are. And just kind of panic searching here, leave it in Pokey, and it's just on the other side, or Pori, sorry, just on the other side of Pori. But another nice score, and I decided to keep on moving. Another somewhat urban setting here. Doesn't look like a major city, with some signage though, which is usually helpful. And we actually head into the city where I do think is actually might be a major city, or at least a somewhat major city. Lots of big buildings here, lots of delivery vans, lots of cars. A lot more going on than most other rounds in Finland. We got some lots of brick architecture here, which makes me think this might just be in Helsinki. This is the more southern kind of architecture, rather than the red buildings often associated with Finland and the other Nordic countries. I found a tram car here, or a rail car. I'm not sure what the official name of them are, but it says Stranden on them, so I assume this is at least a somewhat populous area in the city, which I am still at this point assuming is in Helsinki. Um, I wouldn't imagine. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just assuming based off this kind of connection of railway cars that not too many cities in Finland would have such infrastructure other than Helsinki. So I decided to follow it down a little bit, see if there's any more information, maybe on this stop here, but it's a little bit too hard to read. We just have a taxi sign there, nothing useful. So I'm pretty confident we're in Helsinki at this point, although it's not super helpful because Helsinki is a massive place. And I mean, of course, we're going for the gold as the ultimate goal, but we gotta get as many 5Ks as we can. And we finally have some really useful information here. We have Lahti, and we have Kotka. We also have the Highway 4, 7, and the E75. So I find the Highway 7 there, which it says, it says 4, E75, and 7 continue straight. So I assume we might be on the 7, but of course we could be on the E75, which is also right here. So I assume we're roughly in this area. Just trying to look for that 4 as well, which I currently don't see commentating this, but my screen's a little bit blurry when recording this commentary over the video. So I'm still kind of browsing for place names. Kotka seems to be like the smallest place name, in my opinion. But, very little luck finding such place. So I find Lahti up there, pretty far north, another major city north of Helsinki. So I figure we're still kind of around this region. Definitely makes sense. If Lahti is the ultimate destination, a little bit northernly, as you can see here. And this stretch of highway does actually kind of line up with the road angle we're on right now. So I decided to just kind of hedge around it, knowing we're not exactly on the highway, and we're just a little bit farther south there. So another good score. Not a 5K, but not too bad for a Helsinki round, with somewhat limited information to go off of there. Round number 4 already. This is flying by. In another, somewhat urban, rather small neighborhood, heading for a main drag, as you know the drill by now, on moving games. And we find another road here, kind of hard to say which direction to go, so I just pick one and go for it. It's kind of been my, style playing these games, is it's hard to say which direction it is, so just pick one quick and just go for it. So heading down the street here west, trying to keep in mind at least roughly what direction we're going in. And we find a number that disappears, so hit the back arrow, and we find some place names. We got Keskusta, which I'm beginning to think is not a place name and rather like a city center translation to Finnish. But we have the 724, which would be useful, other than the high number of series, like the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 highway series in Finland are rather small, and I don't exactly know where to look. So I think I'm still looking for Keskusta at this point. Although the more I played Finland, the more I realized that that just means like city center or something along those lines. So I know we still have the 724, which is useful. So I'm just hoping we find some actual place names here. And this sign looks a bit promising, but it just is the same thing. So just kind of scanning the map here, seeing what highway numbers we got there. I'm not quite the 724. I'm trying to learn if there's any system to these highway names, because some countries are very systematic in how they name and number their highway systems. But others just seemingly do it randomly. So I find some 700 series highways here. um, but not quite to 724 yet. But I figure I'm on the right track. We still have 45 seconds left, which is a little bit less than I thought. And we found the 725, it looks like, and the 723. Um, yeah, I mean, we're just hinting around the 724 right now, but unable to put a pinpoint on it as of yet. I don't really want to give up looking at this point because, there's only 20 seconds left. There's not much more we can do with that time. So I decided the best course of action is to find 724, which we look like we do actually find here. But again, kind of impossible to say where we might be at. So I assume Vasa, this city here, we might be in just kind of the sprawling suburbs of this city. As I sent my guess in, and it was just in the city there. Could have picked up a few hundred more points if we click there. And into round 5, we have right away a big highway named 58 and Turva, which I found the 58 surprisingly quick. So now, you know the drill, it's time to scan the 58 and look for Turva, which at this point I am still assuming is a place name and not, an establishment or something of the sorts. So traveling seemingly hundreds of kilometers at this point on the 58, unable to find Turva, I turn to this other sign with a red highway number, which is a little bit easier to find, and hopefully I can find the 23 and 58 intersection, which will make things pretty simple. So I head back up to 58, looking for the 23 in hopes that I can find the right intersection, and there we go, the 23 and 58 in the city here, rather, medium-sized city in Kuru. Trying to look for a roundabout that kind of leads you to both highways, and this roundabout is pretty northerly facing, and this is a small enough city. I think I can find it if I scan. So I come across that roundabout. Doesn't quite look right, but this one actually looks a little bit more accurate. Very north. I want to check if all the roads leading out of this roundabout line up. I find that one lines up pretty well. So is the other one, and we click it, bam, we get the gold medal, 24-2. Pretty decent score there. We managed to get 2 5Ks, which I was, a little bit disappointed about, but 2 isn't too bad. Heading over to the first one there, pretty quick and easy one we had there. Very happy with that one. Round 2 was just in Pori. Unfortunately, didn't get the 5K there, but we were on the right track again. Round 3 in Helsinki was definitely having some trouble with that one at the pinpoint, but another good score nonetheless. Round 4, up in Vasa. Should have just clicked in the city, pick up some more points, but still a nice score. And round 5 in Kuru with the 5K. Adding up to a total of 24-70. Alright, back on the Explorer map, which is up to date. We have our 4th gold medal here in Finland. As you can see here, we got 4 golds. Canada, USA, New Zealand, and now Finland. Making good progress on this. Definitely looking a lot better than what I did when we started. Make sure you come back for episode 5. Subscribe so you don't miss that one. I think the next one will either be Continental Europe or South America. But drop a comment if you want me to tackle some other place. As we're going to have to eventually tackle all of them. I am worried about some of these countries like India, Thailand, where I can't really read the language. So we'll probably hold off on those for a little bit. But yeah, we can definitely tackle the Americas and a lot of Europe here in the near future. Also, I might as well say this if you're still watching. I do have a webcam on the way, so I'll get my face cam going soon, and I should have some audio improvements. I got a headset up my other place where I'll be staying for the rest of the summer. I'm still undecided if I want to invest in a microphone or not. So do let me know if you'd like to see a microphone upgrade, or if this one's not too bad. Yeah, leave all your thoughts in the comments. And with not much else to say, I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like. It means a lot and helps a lot with the algorithm to get this video and my channel out there. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.